Welcome back to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. The NFL was in Columbus yesterday because half of the NFL players who will be drafted were in Columbus yesterday.
That's a fact.
Zach will not be drafted, I don't think, but he was also one of those in attendance. Your thoughts on Ohio State's Pro Day yesterday and specifically Carnell Tate?
My draft stock is tanked. I would not pass the physical or the background check. So I'm safer in the press box.
What's your 40 time?
40?
Assume
40
Zach,
nuggets?
that means how fast can you drink a 40 and not run the 40, correct? Like a 40 good old nuggets. English? Yeah. It's always the most attended or one of the most attended.
Yeah.
I will tell you, one of my impressions is walking out and there's John Harbaugh wearing the Giants gear.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, that's a little different.
That's new.
But yeah, the GMs come. I saw 6 or 7 of them. Harbaugh, I think he's the only head coach that I saw, but people come, right? And like the Buckeyes have maybe 4 top 10 picks. So it was interesting. Only 3 guys ran the 40. Carnell Tate was not one of them. We know there was a little bit of controversy. His agent tried to clear this up.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
They have tracking. The tape says Carnell Tate's pretty fast, right? Carnell Tate passes the medical check, all of that stuff. They've watched him for years. The 40 doesn't matter. He discussed it afterwards. He said he thought about it. That was the competitor in him. He thought he was faster than that. He took advice. He cooled off. Like, that doesn't matter. This guy has played at a high level. So
before we dig in on players specifically, I'm just curious. I should probably open with this. Pull back the curtain a little bit on what these pro days look like. I covered Ohio State for a number of years back when Trussell was there. I don't recall them letting us in to see those.
yeah, it's kind of a new phenomenon.
Yeah, so I've never seen a pro day.
Yeah.
So, like, take us through. Do you have access? Like, are the NFL people separated from the media?
Yes.
Do you have access to them at any point? And, like, what does the day look like?
So Ohio State has this monstrous field house
Yep.
with all the banners and bells and whistles
Yep.
of a program that's got unlimited funds. We go over in the corner.
Yep.
Right? So the pro day will generally start like mid-morning, right around this time. The guys will lift. They will do their jumps. They will meet individually. Say, this is what I'm going to do today, whatever. In like a lot of pro days, there's 30 scouts there. There's 150 to 200 NFL representatives there at the NFL. So then after about an hour, after everybody's measured on the bench press, they'll come out, everybody will get loose. The kicking workout starts. You just see shuttle runs, you see 40-yard dashes, not fancy stuff. And then each position has an individual group workout. So Caleb Downs did not run the 40, but he did the defensive back workout. No knee brace, no anything. I think that whatever was out there is overblown.
Yeah.
Sonny Styles didn't do anything at all because he blew up the combine.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I laughed. He came walking around the corner. He looks like Myles Garrett.
Really?
He is I was stunned.
Now, that is high praise.
Yes.
Because you and I are two of the few people who have seen Miles, stood next to him, and know what he actually looks like.
4.45, Sonny Styles. And I thought this is Miles. Like, I thought it was Myles Garrett standing behind me.
Wow.
It was one of those like straight out of the movies double takes, right?
Whoa.
So what goes on is it's not sexy. It's not really made for TV. It moves over the course of 2.5 hours or so. To see Julian Sayin out there, and I think that's part of the reason some of these GMs come.
Yeah.
But he's making 30 throws.
Yeah.
It's a scripted workout. It's not under any pressure. They're not playing for points or anything. He and Carnell have worked on some throws.
Can I ask you a dumb question?
Yeah.
If you're there, if it's the quarterback trying to throw for the receiver, right? Is it a different workout than when it's for the quarterback?
No.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no.
Is it the same?
It's pretty much the same.
Okay.
It's a little shorter when it's for the receivers. They didn't have many. They had 2 tight ends, but I think only one of them was working, and they had 2 receivers. So they brought in a Youngstown State wide receiver who's probably not going to get drafted. It's just kind of to add a guy.
Yeah.
So they each run through 5 or 6 routes. There's 40-ish throws made, and they go. It starts with the short stuff. They let them go deep at the end. Each guy gets 8 or 10 chances, and they move on.
You mentioned Sonny Styles. You mentioned Caleb Downs. You said one of the 2 tight ends worked out. Was it Max Clare?
It was Kazmarek.
Okay.
Max Clare was there. He might have been in part of the workout. He wasn't in any of the other stuff. And then Sonny Styles' brother, Lorenzo Styles, has an injury. He was in a sling. So he lit up the combine as well. But he's about 3 inches to 5 inches shorter and 40 pounds lighter than his brother, who's just like a cartoon character. I honestly, it was like I couldn't believe what I was seeing there. And this is a guy, and Arvell Reese is nearly as big and fast as him. And I think people would talk about Sonny Styles as the best linebacker in the country, except that Arvell was so good for most of last year, he wasn't even the best linebacker on his own team.
Yeah.
Right, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So these guys both could go in the top 5-ish to 7-ish picks, and the Browns hope that they do. because the Browns are looking for the best offensive player or the best option to trade out.
It's funny because with both of those guys, when you hear pro scouts talk about them long term, that they're going to eventually be edge rushers. And it's just so wild to see, like, Arvell Reese, inner city Cleveland kid, man.
Yeah.
I knew his brother, very biased. I don't care where he lands. That's going to be a dude that I cheer for his entire career.
Yeah.
I just want to see him do well. But it's always exciting as a Buckeye fan to have all these dudes with the potential to be top 10 picks. It'll probably be 6 or 7 gone in the first round total. So it's exciting times. The only thing that frustrates all of us sitting up here, all that talent and we ain't win a national championship.
That's right.
Zach, so you were there yesterday, and I know Carnell Tate said he believes the 40 is overvalued, and he cited guys like JSN and Puka Nacua as two people who didn't destroy the 40-yard dash, have gone on to have incredible NFL careers thus far. For someone in Tate's position who is maybe wide receiver 1, maybe not, depending on what teams value, a guy who could be a top 10 pick, could be a top 5 pick, he ran a 4.53 at the combine. Are you surprised he didn't try and up that at a track that has historically been incredibly favorable to players running the 40-yard dash in the past? Do you think him not running helped or hurt his draft stock?
I don't think it affects it at all, Mike. I understand why it was a talking point because he is a deep ball specialist and people thought that he would be a little bit faster. But the teams have the GPS tracking. They've scouted him. He doesn't have the lingering injury. He came back and played. There's nothing. I remember 3 years ago when JSN ran his and there was a little bit of mystery because people didn't think that he was that fast. He had missed some time via injury. He did it once. His time was his time. Guess what? He's arguably the best receiver on the planet.
The highest paid receiver in the NFL
Yeah,
now.
right. So it's different for different guys. I was at Toledo's pro day on Monday. There was a guy that ran 4.49. He wanted to run it again. Why? He's fast. He wants to get noticed. He's a Toledo guy. That's what he has to do, right? Carnell Tate, there's years of tape. The production is there. Teams have known about him, have met with him. He didn't need to run the 40 to up it by one spot. Either the Titans are going to love him or they're not. The Giants are going to love him or they're not. They know by now.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with Zach, and I agree with Carnell. The 40 is overrated depending on what your situation is and who you are. If you a standout Ohio State wide receiver who has produced year in and year out for that college, then it's not something that is necessary. Not only that, we all know when you get to the NFL level, it's not about how fast your straight line speed is. It's about you being a route running assassin. One of the fastest dudes we've ever seen play for Ohio State was Ted Ginn Jr., and it took him about 8 years into his NFL career to really get the route running part down pat, and you start seeing him have success in Carolina, a little bit of success in New Orleans. And so having that straight line feed, it's cool for talking points, but that it doesn't really mean all of that when you own a field in real time, and I don't think so.
Do you guys know the history of the 40, why it's the 40?
I don't.
No.
It goes all the way back to Paul Brown, right? And when he was coaching the players at the military school, the maritime school.
It was at A&M, wasn't it?
40, no, Paul didn't coach there. That was Bear Bryant. 40 yards is how long you run to cover a punt. So that's how they were timing guys. Guess what? Nobody's drafting Carnell Tate to cover punts.
Not at all.
Right? Now, people are drafting Carnell Tate to catch 50, 60-yard touchdowns, to run 40-yard sideline routes, but that's the history of it, and it's just been adopted as the 40-yard dash. It's the 10-yard splits for the linemen. Like Ted Ginn probably had outrageous 20 and 30-yard splits, right? But like it's that one number on Carnell Tate does not define who he was as a college player or who he's going to be as an NFL player.
The idea, I think I used to dismiss the difference in 4.4 and 4.5 because it's a tenth of a second. And then when I watched my son swim, I saw the difference in a tenth of a second. But how important is 1/10 of a second? Because when you hear it, you think it's really not that big of a deal. And I know he said like he's better in other ways, and I agree. Like he'll be in the top 10. He deserves to be in the top 10. What is the significance though between a 4.4 and a 4.5?
Nothing if you can't catch the ball, if you can't bend and catch it. And that Carnell Tate is a finisher. He's a reach over guys, right? He's an adjust his body, deep ball, true outside guy. So it matters very little. It's one data point. I know Browns fans are a little scarred by the use of data point, but it really is. And that's part of the reason the Browns aren't big on these. Like there are some guys they want to know, but they can tell from the film how fast you are.
Yeah, it's funny you said that. 1/10 of a second, you know where it show up most at in sports?
Track.
In the swimming pool, racetrack, NASCAR tracks.
Yeah.
Like that's where 1/10 of a second is a big deal. So
Well, I want to go back to because I'm not just saying this because we're friends, we work together, and you're sitting 6 feet from me, and you could probably kick my butt if you want to. You are one of the few that go to all these pro days. Why do you like attending so many pro days, and what's the benefits?
Well, I want to see these guys up close. Like the top guys, especially, are the freaks of freaks. Like I want to see what they look like. And I'm glad you asked because about 10 years ago, Ohio State had the pro day with Zeke Elliott, Joey Bosa, like all of these guys. When they set the record or tied the record, I think for most first rounders.
Was Tyvis Powell part of that pro day?
He probably was. I think 15 or 16.
Well,
but anyway,
he demands to be included in that headline group.
Yeah.
Zeke, Joey Bosa, and Tyvis Powell.
Okay. But I remember catching up with a scout that I knew, and I said, I'm watching him go through the bag drills and stuff. Same stuff you see at youth football practice or at high school football practice. And I said, you've seen these guys. What's the value here? And he said, wait a minute, I'm going to show you. He said, that's a good question. He said, all these guys were the star players in their high school, star in their college. He said, watch this guy who ended up being a 4th-round pick go through the bags. And he said, and watch Joey Bosa do it like this. That's what you see. Like the difference is like watch Ezekiel Elliott turn the corner right here when Ezekiel Elliott was 21 years old. Like people forget how explosive he was at 222 pounds with zero body fat. Like you see the best of the best. And why teams value and why a lot of GMs and head coaches don't miss these, the top ones, is they want to see. Now there's more than just seeing that. It's how they interact. Like the workout should go well. They're on their home turf. They're around their coaches, their teammates, their families are there. They just want to see that. But you want to see these guys up close in that setting because you're really trying to draft a team of the biggest, strongest, fastest freaks. And that doesn't mean that everybody that's the biggest, strongest, fastest is the best football players, but when you're spending this kind of pick on them, you want to see them up close and see what they really look like.
So then, have you seen Andrew Berry at any of these?
No.
Why?
They don't believe in it. They use the tracking. Most of the time, it's the young scouts. Now, yesterday, both assistant GMs from the Browns were there, and that's a rarity for the Browns. Agents are there; they're talking to them.
Yeah.
They're getting a look at Julian Sayin, which you're not going to get, in a lot of other places. And you're just kind of seeing these guys interact and talk like that.
If you don't want to fly to USC for a pro day, I get it. It's 2 hours away.
Fair.
Why not?
Well, I would say this last year, and I thought it was strange that they weren't at all the top quarterbacks. But then they went and worked these guys out individually.
Yeah.
So a lot of these top guys don't really work out anyway. Like Caleb Downs' DB workout was 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Carnell Tate ran 8 full-speed routes yesterday.
Yeah.
So, like, the debate is what are you really getting out of it? But I remember going back 10 years.
How many GMs did you say were there?
Like at least 7 that I saw.
But hasn't this been Andrew Berry's norm? Correct me if I'm
No,
wrong.
it has. It has.
It has been the norm.
Of
the ones I've been to, I've never seen him at one.
I'm not saying the GM has to be at every one. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
You have one of the 2 to 3 most dominant football programs in the country over the last
that's a fact.
25 years.
And they're right down the street.
It's
They're right down the road.
street.
Yeah.
And your owner has a plane he loves to take everywhere. You can be there in 15 minutes.
Not only that,
I just don't understand. I don't see the harm in having.
I agree.
it seemed
I
like
don't want to make a big deal about it. I don't want, don't clip this and make this.
no.
I'm not trying
I get what you're saying, especially when
It's just-
people from the Pittsburgh Steelers show up there.
I just don't understand.
It's a philosophy thing. Like, it was strange to not see Mike Tomlin there because he was there every single year. It was strange to not see Vrabel there because even when he was the head coach of the Titans, he would be jumping in front of the drills and doing the defense, like running the defensive line drills. Like, there was a young Brown scout who was running the shuttle run, and he was out there explaining to the guys, this is where we time you. If you don't hit this cone, we're going to do it. Well, Mike Vrabel used to be out there himself as a head coach. So it's a philosophical thing. I agree that it's strange. And I agree people can say, what are you doing here? Like, John Harbaugh sees value in meeting these guys up close and watching them up close and watching them. They didn't do that. Now, Glenn Cook and Catherine Hickman were there. Yeah. Catherine Hickman was at the Toledo Pro Day, timing somebody in the 40. Like, so they do feel some value in it, but he chooses not to go. Yeah. Now, are they busy with other things? Yes, but it's a fair question to ask, Jason. It really is.
Was it a manual?
He did not run. But
at the top of the hour, when YouTube joins, we're going to talk about all this Myles Garrett stuff. But you mentioned Sonny Styles looks like Myles Garrett. 30 seconds, because I don't want to turn it any more than that. Is there any possible chance that all of this is connected? They would take Sonny Styles at 6 and trade Myles?
I don't think so. I think this team has to go offense. I think this team wants to trade down and is rooting for these defensive guys to be the great prospects that they're heralded to be, so they get that opportunity. I would be stunned if Arvell Reese or Sonny Styles or Caleb Downs was a Cleveland Brown because those guys play on the defensive side of the ball.